Hi everybody, Colin here, welcome back. Today's project is called Drumstar, where we're going to be making a clicky type game. Right, let's do my projects page. And it looks like I spelled it wrong. Oh yeah, I did, but it's found it for me. And we're going to go for all new paths. We're going to go for this middle box here, and we're going to go to Drumstar. That's today's project. And I'll put a link for these instructions in the project notes. So for today's project, we're going to be making a game, and this is kind of like you could consider a bit like a platform game or a clicker game. And if I press the green flag here, it'll ask me what my name is. And now every time I click on the symbol, my score is going up by 1. When I get to 10, this number here, I can buy a snare drum. So I click on here now, I can buy a snare drum. My score has gone down to 1, but if I click on the snare drum, you can see that I'm getting 2 points per beat. So I can play with drums. And then when it gets to 30 points, I can buy some bongo drums. And the backdrop changes. Now if I click on the bongo drums, I'm getting 5 points per tap. So hopefully you can have some fun with that once you've made your version. Okay, so like I normally do, we're going to go to the first page. There's a starter project which you can click on the link in the instructions there. And I'm going to do what I normally do, and I'm going to put my just in case you didn't see that. Yes, so I'm going to go to the project page, and then I'm going to drag the tab the project is down, so that separates it and gives me 2 windows. And if I press Windows key and right arrow, the Scratch project goes over to the right hand side, and Windows key left arrow, and the instructions go to the left. Squash this over like this, and this one like this, and then I got my instructions on the left and my stage on the right. So the default, the project they've given me has got 2 sprites on it already. If I look at the costumes on the sprite, this really is a project where we can choose different sorts of drums for later on in the project. So there's a whole load of different drums that you could experiment and bring in. There's no code on this bit because we're just using that as a place to pick up some costumes. The other thing we've got on here is a button that we can't see because it's been hidden because of the eyeball crossed out here. But if I press the show, it just places that button down on the bottom right hand corner of the page. I'm going to rehide it so it's back to how it was when we arrived. And that button only has one piece of code, one costume on it. Okay, so let's get going. First thing we're going to do is we're going to choose a backdrop. So down the bottom right hand side, I'm going to search for bedroom. I'm going to pick bedroom 3. And on the code for the stage for bedroom 3, which is what's on the page now, I've got the bedroom. The bedroom's highlighted. None of my sprites are highlighted, so I'm on the stage. And I'm just going to put some code in that when the green flag is clicked, an event, when the green flag is clicked, switch the backdrop to bedroom 3. And that bit of code is under looks, switch backdrop to bedroom 3. So now whenever the game starts, we're always going to have that backdrop as our starter backdrop. We're going to create a variable to store the player name. So we're going to create a variable. I'm going to call mine player name because I'm always a little bit nervous of using words that I've seen in coding. So player name is good for me, and I'm just going to click OK on that. And the next thing is that on the At the moment it comes up with a 0 in there. Well, we don't want that. We want it to come up with 3 question marks. So we're going to set, add it onto the code there. We're going to set player name to 1, 2, 3 question marks. So I click the green flag. That goes to 3 question marks. But we're now going to then ask, what's your rockstar name? So that bit of code block is under sensing, and we're going to grab it there. And what is your rockstar name? Question mark. And what happens there is that puts that input box on the screen, and any answer I put in there goes into a variable called answer. So there's the variable there, and if I click on it in here, it shows you what I just put in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that onto the tabletop, and I'm going to set name to answer now. So bring back variables and set player name to answer. So that's just really a way of capturing the player's name and popping it in the display at the top here. One last thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this readout box into a large one. So we don't need the text beside it. And I think I'm just going to pop that over there on the right hand side where they've put theirs. So now if I run the code now, it asks what's your name, Colin, and then Colin appears in the top. If you put a bigger name in there, the box, yeah. So having put a bigger name in there, I know I need to bring it in a little bit to make room for longer names. Okay, so we've done all that lot. We're now going to save the project. No, I haven't signed in yet, so let me just sign in. And now I can remix this project. Drumstar Colin's version. And now that's within my stuff in Scratch, and I'll put the link for this in the instructions as well, so you can see what I've done, because I'm not going to follow the instructions exactly the same. Okay, so it's been saved. So we're now going to add a starter drum to our stage. So we're going to add this drum symbol to our sprite, our project. We're going to go down to search. I'm going to search for symbol. There it is. Quick look and see what costumes that's got. It's got this costume here and one with like a bit like an animation type thing, and we need to position it over here on the left hand side. Obviously you can put it wherever you like, but the idea is we're going to have some musical instruments appearing along the bottom right hand corner. We want to add the music extension now, and the way we do that is come down to go to the code tab and press this button here that says add an extension, and we're just going to add music in. So that now opens up all the music sounds. Having got making sure I've got my symbol sprite clicked, there's no code showing on it. We're going to add an event that when this sprite is clicked, switch costume to symbol B, so that's under looks, switch costume to symbol B, play drum high open hat for 0.25 seconds. So having brought that music extension in down here, I've now got these music sounds here. Pop that one on there. I need to change it to number 5. Open hi-hat. The 0.25 beats is what they recommend, and then switch the costume to symbol B, which is not hitting the drum. So that's under looks, and switch costume to symbol A. Right, let's do a little test on that, shall we? So when I click on there, we're getting a cymbal sound, and my sprite is changing costume to the one with the 2 lines on it. We need to add our beats scoring system now. So what we're going to do is create a variable called beats. So under the variable tab, create a variable beats. You can easily call that a score because that's really what we're using that for. And when this sprite is clicked, we're going to change beats by 1. So pop that in there. And every time I click the drum, the cymbal, the score is going up by 1. But of course, what we need to do is make sure that the beats is set to 0 at the start of the game. So if I go back to my stage and the code on my stage, I can add in so that when the green flag is pressed, let's set beats to 0 and just pop that in there above what's your rockstar name. So now if I press the green flag, the game restarts, score's gone back to 0, and it's asking me what my name is again. Okay, and let's just press save now. So that's saving the project. So now we're going to work on some upgrades. So the idea is that once we've got 10 points, we're going to be able to use a snare drum. So we're going to add the snare drum to the stage first of all. Did I miss something? No, okay. So we're going to add the snare drum to the stage. So come down here again. Let's search for snare. There it is. It's appeared on top of the bed, so I'm just going to drag it down into where I want it. Quick look at the costumes. Okay, so that's the same as the cymbal one, really. There's a one being tapped on one where it's not being tapped. We're going to copy the code from the the cymbal. So to copy the code, we make sure we've got the cymbal icon highlighted. We'll grab hold of the block here, and I like to go around to the right hand side and come in from the left, and you'll see the tile where the snare drum is. You'll see it give a little shiver, a little shake. There we go, and then let go. And then when I click on the snare drum, that code has been copied onto my snare drum sprite. We're going to change the scoring to be when this sprite is clicked, change it by 2. And I've also got to update the costumes here. Clicking the drop down there, we're going to change it to drum snare B and drum snare A. And we need to change the sound as well to a snare drum. And now let's test that out. So okay, so that's working. The scores are going up by 2 when I click the drum, and going up by 1 when I click the cymbal, which is exactly what I'd like. Right, we don't want the drum to appear when the game first starts, so we're going to sort that out by putting in a when the green flag is clicked, hide. When the green flag is clicked, go to looks, drag in hide, pop that on there, and now when the green flag is clicked, that drum goes away. Oh, I was on the wrong sprite. Whoops. So to fix that, I'm going to just copy that code, drag it back to my drum snare again. I'm still on my cymbal at the moment, so I don't want to hide that one, so I'll get rid of those 2 blocks. And yeah, it parks it on top of it, so I need that on there. My cymbal's hidden, so I'm just going to make that show. Press the green flag, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's working as expected. The snare drum is hidden. My cymbal drum is on the stage. To make it so you can collect to buy the drum, we need to get the scoring thing down the bottom right hand corner. and they've given us one as a starter. So we're going to click on the get sprite. We're going to duplicate it, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name to get snare to remind me what we're doing, and then we're going to add a picture of the snare drum onto our button, because the costumes on our button is pretty boring. So come back over here, and we're going to go to the snare drum, look at its costumes. I'm going to drag a square around all of that, and I'm going to press copy. I'm going to go to my button, click on the costumes which I've got, and then do paste. If you like keyboard shortcuts, Control C works for copying, and Control V works for pasting. Right, so I've now got that sprite, a picture of what you're going to buy when you get 10 points. And we're just going to make it so when the green flag is clicked, that button shows. So on the code tab for that one, the event when the green flag is clicked looks, we're going to show that. Da, 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 da. Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it for a minute. Right, it's obviously on the end of the bed, so I'm just going to drag it down to the right hand corner so that we can see what we're buying. You can only buy the drum when you've got 10 points. So on the get snare icon, we need to add some code that says when this sprite is clicked, we want one of those if-else control blocks that we used in one of the last projects. We want that one there, and we want an operator that says if something is bigger than, so if whatever's on the left hand side is bigger than the right hand side. So if the beats, if I've got enough, basically if I've got enough beats, if it's bigger than 9, so that means it will work when it's 10. Whatever I code in the top part of this if statement will work. And if beats isn't greater than 10, it'll do what's in the bottom part. So when this sprite is clicked, if beats is greater than 9, we're going to hide that icon. That gives us a chance to change the icon for another one to show the next item that can be bought. So we go to looks, we're going to go hide, pop that in there, change beats by -10, so you're going to spend those points, change those beats by -10, else we're going to say you haven't got enough beats. So that's under looks, and that's the 2-second one we're going to use. Sorry, not enough beats. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to put a way of being able to get the backdrop to change and the other button to show. We're going to add a broadcaster message snare. So that's a control. No, it's an event. And we're going to broadcast snare. Click on there, new message, just call it snare. Oops. And then on the snare drum, when this message is displayed, we're going to get the snare drum to appear. So I'm clicking on the snare drum, and we're going to say when I receive snare, show. Looks, show. We're going to add another backdrop. So as well as presenting the snare drum, we're going to change the backdrop. So we'll add another backdrop in now, and the one they've used is chalkboard. It's a bit boring. It looks a bit boring, but never mind. You can use anything you like. Clicking on this stage again, so on code, sorry for that, we want to add in when I receive snare, change the backdrop to chalkboard. So when I receive snare, looks, switch backdrop to chalkboard. Okay. Let's just test that, and there's a couple of things we're looking for. So when I press the green flag, we should go back to our start position and it asks our name, and we check our score is at 0. What's my name? Colin. Right. We should see the score go up by 1 when I click on my symbol, which it is doing. If I click on my buy button, it should say not enough beats because I haven't got 10 beats to buy it, so that's good. That's working. Click again. Right, now I've got over 10 points. I'm going to buy a drum. The backdrop has changed, which is what we wanted, and the beats has gone down to 1 because we spent 10 points. And we can test the drum is adding 2 to the points now, and the cymbal still adds 1. Okay, so that's behaving as we'd expect. We're going to add a second upgrade now for the project. So we're going to go to the drum snare one. We're going to duplicate that, and we're going to rename that straight away. And I'm going to go for a djembe drum, only because I got one in my office behind me, which if I remember, I'll show you afterwards. And what I'm going to do is on the drum icon, do you remember there were loads of costumes on there? Well, I'm going to copy the djembe drum costumes onto my my new drum I made over here, and to do that, all I'm just going to do is just drag that, and Ty will do that shaky thing again. Did you see? Do the shaky thing? There we go. Let that go on there. Drag that one onto there, and that does a shaky thing. Look at my drum costume, and now I've got a djembe drum. Oops. Don't worry about that for the moment because it's following some code. Let's get rid of that costume. Let's get rid of that costume. So now my djembe drum has just got the djembe costumes. Go to the code for that. And they're using a conga drum, but I'm using my djembe drum because I've got. And we're going to change beats by 5 when you click on the djembe. Going to change the title there, the costume to be djembe 2, because costume 2 is the one with the noise lines coming out the top. And it's like a hand. No, the bongo one I think was the closest sound I've got to this. And then go for the djembe 1, and we're now in a position to be able to test that works. So I click on the sprite, the score should go up by 5. That's good, so that's working just as we expected. Let's get it on the floor level with the other ones. So we're going to now sort the button out. So we're going to right click on get snare and duplicate it. We're going to change the icon on that one as well. So first of all, I'm going to click on there, delete the drum. I've got to click again on the black lines and delete the drum again. Go to my djembe drum and we'll take that one. So dragging over the top of that. I'm going to use Control C to copy this time. Go to drum 2, go to get snare. Actually, we need to be good and change that to djembe, and then come over here, and if I do Control V, that drum is pasted onto there. It's obviously too big for the button, so I'm just going to use the corner drag handles to sort that out. I need to change the score to be 30, so press the text button, click on there, and I can just backspace there and type in 3 for 30. And because I copied the code, this one should say when the green flag is clicked, show, but we need to hide it because we don't want this to appear. We don't want the get Jombe button to appear at the outset. And on the new drum, oh no, let's sort the scoring out. So if you get 30 points, we're going to be able to buy the drum. So if beats is greater than 29, change beats by minus 30. Broadcast the new message, Jombe. And we can still keep the sorry not enough beats. And on the drum, we're going to add when I receive snare show. We've got that. Done that. Yeah, so the drum needs to appear when the message, when I receive conga show. So yeah, change that snare there to Jombe, and then that drum will show. So it's going to be hid when the green flag is clicked. It will appear when Jombe is broadcast, which is controlled from that button get Jombe. And we're going to add another backdrop, and that's party. Obviously you can use your own backdrops. Click the backdrop, and we're going to, I'm just going to duplicate that block there. When I receive Jombe, change backdrop to party. Save my project. Right, so now it's time to make sure our project works. So I'm just going to make this big so you can see. Press the green flag. Hi there, what's your name? It's Colin. Test everything. So that's good that doesn't work. So let's get up to 10. Should be able to buy the drum now. The snare drum, backdrop switches, that's good. Click on the drum, the score should change by 2. But still click the symbol. Right, now I've got 31 point. Oh, where's my button gone? Okay, so there's a problem with the button not appearing. So what have I done for my button? Oh, we didn't program this to make the button visible, and we make this button visible when snare is displayed, when the snare button's pressed. So when I receive snare, show, looks, show, and on the get snare one, when I receive oh no, that's going to hide anyway. Why didn't the other one hide? Oh no, it does hide, doesn't it? So okay, so I think that fixes that, because it just means that the second button will appear when the snare appears. Let's stop and start again. Colin. Tap 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 tap. Buy a drum. It didn't appear. Oh yes, it has. Right. So I need to push this in the right position, down the bottom right corner, stop and start again. This should work all the way through now. Colin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Buy a drum. That's great. If I click on the buy the djembe drum, that should say not enough beats, which it does. Score's going up by 2. I've now got enough points to buy the drum. Press that one. Brilliant. Okay. As per the other projects, there's some chance for you to ask some answer some questions, which I'll let you do at your own leisure. And if you really wanted to, you could then extend the project by adding some more drums. And well, I hope you enjoyed that game. I've got my djembe drum in front of me here. Going to play a little tune. Right, that's enough. I'll see you in the next video, and we'll be doing a shopping game next time round. Bye.